I'm currently falling, so this intro is gonna have to be quick. In this video, I'll be showing you 30 things in the latest cave and cliff update that you might not have known about. Keep in mind, however, that the update is not yet out, so some of these things might change.
Don't worry, Mr. Derby Whale, I won't let you fall.
Oh man, you're a lifesaver, thanks for saving me. Now I can actually make the video. Because after all, what good is an intro if I just can't make the video? Big drip leaves naturally generate within the new lush cave biome, and if you stand on them they'll give way to the weight and collapse. But for some reason, when you give it a redstone signal, they won't drop, meaning they can support your weight with redstone. Now, I'm not sure why this does this, but it's a mechanic in the game. When you apply honeycomb to copper blocks, they make their wax variants, meaning they won't oxidize. And to put that even more simply, they just won't change color at all. So people have found out you can actually make secret messages with them. I tried to make my own, but I'm not that good at word art, so here's one I found online, credit is on the bottom right. It's one I featured in one of my Daily Dosed episodes. This next one is probably one of the more satisfying things, as well as useful. If you bone meal moss blocks, they will actually spread, and you get a lot out of it. You get azalea bushes as well as the new glowberry bushes. Super useful to know this one. There's a lot of misconception around the Warden's height, but we now have it confirmed. As it stands, Mojang's plan is to have the Warden 4 blocks tall, so that's twice as tall as a regular player and 1 block taller than an iron golem. Here's a comparison to show you guys the differences. We are not ready for this new mob. It will destroy us. In one of the snapshots, they made it so dropping wall and standing on wall will not trigger the skulk sensor. It's important that you remember this fact because the skulk sensor is essentially how the Warden will see. And if you can get away with walking on wall, that's very useful to know. Speaking of the Warden, it doesn't just go for players or those that attack it. It will attack any mob that creates a vibration. Although Mojang have made it known that it won't attack other Wardens. For some reason, I just imagine a pig and a Warden in an arena. I couldn't watch that, that'd be too brutal. Yet another fact confirmed by Mojang about the Warden is that it does have knockback resistance, meaning when you go for a swing, it's not going to go anywhere, so you better run. We also got a brief insight to how Mojang expect to tackle people pillaring around the Warden, because obviously if it's 4 blocks tall, you don't want to just be able to pillar 5 blocks and basically make the Warden useless. Or at least that's what Mojang don't want, we would obviously love that. As to how it's going to combat this, people have said that it has some kind of like screaming ability, or some kind of ability where it will just break the blocks. We're not yet sure though. During some of the 1.17 snapshots, waxed, lightly weathered cut copper stairs was the longest named item ever put into Minecraft, standing at 41 characters. And I'm surprised I was even able to say that without stuttering. With this new 1.17 update, we get a third new 3D item. There's only 3 in the game. They are the spyglass, the trident, and the shield. The only 3 items in the game to have a 3D model. Make sure you remember that one, because that seems like a very easy trivia question. And if you pay attention to my community tab, I do run a trivia series. You can actually freeze and take damage from standing in powdered snow for too long. But to counter this, all you need to do is wear leather armor. The same thing goes for the fact that when you stand on powdered snow, you will fall through. And it's an obvious trap for your friends to pull on you. All you need to do to counter this is wear leather boots, and then you can walk freely on powdered snow without falling down. The new skulk sensor is an amazing block, and will open the doors for many possibilities when it comes to redstone, but the noise is so annoying and can be a dead giveaway for your house or trap. In one of the later snapshots, they made it so you can actually basically turn off the noise a skulk sensor makes. All you need to do is waterlog it. The redstone mechanics do not change, it just means that when it triggers, it won't make a noise. And this is very useful, especially if you've got a hidden entrance or a hidden kind of thing that you want to hide. It's a dead giveaway when the skulk sensor literally makes a noise and you know where it is. This next change that comes with this new update is probably not one of the more interesting ones, but it can have a big impact on how you play with your friends. We've all been in this situation where you have to log off because there's not enough people to sleep, or you're not near a bed, and you're in the Nether, or something like that. There is now a new game rule where you can adjust the percentage of how many people need to sleep. It's called player sleeping percentage. In my opinion, this is hugely undervalued because this is going to be so useful going forward, but I've barely heard about it, to be honest. It's all about the Warden these days. So when I read up on it, I assumed a lot of people probably haven't heard about this one though. Clocks and compasses now have completely new textures. Here's what they look like now, and here's what they looked like before. A massive improvement, I must admit, although it is sad to see such a legacy item be changed that much. First they removed pigmen, and now this. Drowned mobs will now drop copper ingots instead of gold ingots. This is a subtle change that I don't really think impacts that much, but you definitely probably didn't know about it. Skeletons that take freeze damage in powdered snow will now become strays. And I think that's a pretty good idea. Little changes like this make the game a little bit more interesting. This is the first update to add in a new ore since 2012. In Java Edition 1.3.1, Emerald ore was added, and that was in 2012. And only now in 2021, we're getting a new ore, and that is copper ore, of course. Another cool fact is that this is the first real-world ore to be actually added into the game since 2009, when iron and gold was actually added into the game. There's never been a real ore added since. Ceramic shards, which will come in the archaeology side of the 1.17 update, a side we haven't really heard much about as of yet, comes in various types, all of which can be used to create decorative pots. These pots actually are pictures of things that come from within the game itself. We have an ender dragon, a skeleton, and a tree or vindicator pattern design, and they can all be customized. We really don't know much about this archaeology side of this update, and I will be making a whole video dedicated to it once we have some more information. Mariana, who is a concept artist for Mojang, actually gave us an insight as to what inspired the design around the cave update, especially the lush caves. And funny enough, it actually comes from an Adventure Time crossover. She didn't say it inspired the whole thing, but there was a bit of inspiration coming from that show. The episode was called Diamonds for Lemons, and it is on YouTube if you do want to check it out. When Deep Sleep was first added in one of the snapshots, it was originally called Grimstone. The reason behind the name change was because the word grim had too many negative connotations related to it, and therefore did not accurately describe what the block actually was, and the name Deep Sleep was seen as more appropriate because of the journey needed to gather it, as well as the location within the world. Mojang employees actually went on real-life expeditions in caves to give them inspiration for this huge update, as well as some experienced caving Mojang employees who use past experiences to give references to artists. Imagine working a job where they actually give you real-world experience on the things you're adding into the game. No wonder why Minecraft just does so well in these updates. It does make you wonder though, what kind of field trip would they have taken for the Nether update? The name Skulk is derived from the word skulk, meaning out of sight and typically with a sinister or cowardly motive. It seems like Mojang don't just pick random words for these new items, they go into really deep meanings that are usually lost on people. Because now that you think about it, that is such a perfect word for the block that it's associated with, especially the skulk sensor that we already know is just going to be used in traps. It's going to be the last thing most people hear before TNT ignites. With this new update, we actually get 4 new biomes and 5 new cave types. The cave types are noise caves, cheese caves, spaghetti caves, aquifers, and mesh caves. That's a lot of caves in one sentence. And the 4 new biomes are the deep dark, dripstone caves, lush caves, and of course the mountains, which are split up into lofty peaks, snow-capped peaks, snowy slopes, mountain groves, and mountain meadows. Some of these we don't really know what they are yet. During the Minecraft livestream, a lot of people got confused because they saw glowing ores. Well, it turns out this was actually Mojang's test for the new glow Lichen block, and have gone out and said that there won't be glowing ores in this new update. Deep sleep strongholds will probably be a thing. We can't say for sure, but they already do kind of cross over quite nicely. And it's just a matter of if Mojang want to make them official and give them a specific biome. And from my perspective, they probably will. They do fit quite nicely, and the Y levels don't really matter anymore. They just need to adjust it to the new levels because we have so much more space to work with. And it does actually make sense for the stronghold to be lower, because with these new changes, the stronghold is pretty close to the surface now, in comparison. The Warden's head is actually a skulk sensor. There is no difference besides the range, which means we can actually test around with how the Warden will act and see vibrations. Although the Warden isn't actually in any snapshots at the time of recording this video, we have the possibility to play around with how it will see with the skulk sensor. Every vibration that the skulk sensor will pick up now will basically be picked up by the Warden. In the 21W03A snapshot, there was a brief glitch that actually allowed you to place water in the Nether, and it was a lot of fun to actually use. All you needed to do was place the Lichen block in the Nether and it was automatically waterlogged. The lightning rod doesn't just prevent lightning from burning down your house, it will actually give off a redstone signal when struck, meaning you can have contraptions or alarms set off if your base was struck by lightning. It has a range of 64 blocks, and it does cause lightning to strike when hit with a trident attached with channeling. But that's it, that's 30 things you might not have known about the latest 1.17 Cave and Cliff update. A lot of effort went into this video, so if you're still watching, you must have enjoyed it, right? So leaving a like and subscribing to my channel shows me that you do enjoy this content, and I should make more. Leave a comment down below, let me know your favourite or most anticipated part about this new update coming, and I have 2 more videos on screen I think you'll enjoy. As always, thank you for watching.